Hi everybody, welcome to my very first ever video on my YouTube channel. For my first video I'm going to be rooting a reborn Maddie. She's a toddler by Bonnie Brown, for those that don't know. I'm going to be doing the video in stages, showing my rooting. I don't know how many parts it will have, but this is part one. Anyway, I'm showing you the rooting pattern here that I've drawn on with chalk. This is quite a complicated rooting pattern, and if you're a beginner I wouldn't advise following this pattern. I would start with something much simpler. You don't have to be all complicated like this, it's just the pattern I've chosen for Maddie. It's how I want her hair to sit and lay. Anyway, I hope you enjoy part one. I'll be chatting through the video and explaining what kind of needles I use, what kind of hair I use, and my method. Here I'm just showing you that I actually root from the end of the hair, from the cut end of the hair. A mono root, which is one hair per hole, one hair per follicle. The video footage isn't that great because I've filmed on my phone camera, sorry. I do have a better camera, but for my first video I just wanted to try with the phone. The needle I'm using is actually a really thin needle. It's a 46 gauge needle, which is quite thin. Again, if you're a beginner I wouldn't suggest starting out with this needle. I would use a 38 or a 42 gauge. They're a bit stronger, a bit thicker. I use these needles because it leaves virtually no hole at all in the vinyl. You'll see later when I do a close-up video. But as you can see, I've already done a little bit of this section there, just using water to smooth the hair down so I can see where I'm going, where I've been. I just would like to say how I'm holding the needle there, how you can see it looks really awkward in my fingers. I don't hold the needle like this normally. It's because of the head, the angle, the neck ring there that you can see, her neck. I can't get my hand close enough, so I have to hold the needle in a really awkward position. There you go, there's your close up. That's mono rooting, one hair per hole. Here I've moved along the back. This is how I tend to root, from the back to the front. It saves the hairline from being rubbed around too much in the bowl. You can see I'm rooting at an angle. The needle's almost flat to the head. If you're just starting out rooting, I know it looks easy, but it really is difficult to get the hang of. But don't give up. If you're struggling, don't give up, because it just takes practice. That's the only thing. You have to practice. The more heads you root, the easier it will become. And if you're finding rooting from the end like this difficult, you need to root from a loop. That's much easier. There are tutorials on rooting a loop on YouTube that you can follow. I might even do one, but I don't root the loop. But that is an easier way of rooting if you're a beginner. Rooting from the end takes some getting used to. It's not easy. But as you can see, it's doable with time, practice and a little patience. You keep noticing that I'm using, these are actually sandwich bags. I do use cling film quite a lot, it works the same, but I don't like my hands to touch her vinyl where I've already painted, because I'm worried it's going to rub off the paint. I mean, I don't think it will, but you've got oils in your hands, and even though I clean my hands really well before I touch any of my dolls, you still carry oils in your hands, and I don't want that to transfer to her vinyl, especially since I've already painted it. So yeah, I use the bags to wherever I touch her. Look, you can see I put my hands on the bags. Cling film works just as well, like I say. Just slowly rooting now, pulling out any of the hairs I don't like the look of. Sometimes you do get really thick hairs in the bundles. I don't like to use those because they stand funny. So yeah, I'll just let you watch a bit more, and I'll jump in when and if I need to. got a bit further along now. My hand is in a really awkward position on this spot. You can see I'm holding the needle right at the tip, which is not ideal. It hurts your fingers, it hurts your wrist, but it's only for the bottom of the head. As I move up the head, you'll see later in later videos that my hand position changes and it becomes a lot more comfortable. The bottom of the head is the hardest to root, I think, needle position wise. There are tools you can buy to put your needles in to make it more comfortable to hold. I've tried them. You can use rubber bands around the needle, blue tack. You can even make your own. I've tried all these and I find it's just easier for me to control using a bare needle like this. I mean, this head will take hours and hours, days. So my hand will have hurt at the end. So maybe I should use a rooting tool. Maybe I'll try again. But for now, I like to use the bare needle. Here you can see my line was rubbing off, so I'm just redrawing so I don't lose where I'm at. Because Maddie's a toddler and her hair is going to be long, I won't root such a swirl. I mean, when I show you a newborn head to root, the pattern will be completely different. I'll root almost in a circular motion around the head, but toddlers, because toddlers' hair is longer, you tend not to see the swirl patterns as much. So I can afford to root Maddie at this stage almost straight up. I mean, my way isn't the way to root, obviously. I'm not an expert. This is just how I do it. This is just my way. I feel like I'm getting somewhere now. We've done quite a big section. I work in sections, it makes the time go quicker. Or it seems to. I'm going to try and show you now inside the head what that looks like. Because you obviously need some hair to glue. As you can see, there's hair in there that I will glue inside. I'll show you that later when it's time. It's starting to take shape now, it's really long. I'm not going to cut it yet. Normally I cut as I go because it gets in the way, but I'm not sure how long I'm going to do Maddie's hair, so I'm going to leave it like that for now. I think you can see sometimes if I've caught 2 hairs per hole, I'll pull them out because I only want 1 hair per hole. Any more than that and I'll tweezer them out. sometimes the hair that I'm holding becomes frayed a bit and it's harder to grab one hair at a time, so I'll just trim it down, and it makes it much easier to pull out the hairs individually that I need. Again, at an awkward angle there because I'm coming up from the left. Trying to split the hairs to grab each one individually. We're almost at the end of this part 1 video now. I don't want to make it too long and bore everyone to death. I hope you carry on watching part 2 and part 3, part 4, however many parts it takes, to see the finished Maddie. Hopefully you'll get something out of this. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below, or you could always follow my Facebook page and message me on there. I'll probably be much more responsive on there. It's at Beautiful Lee Reborn. That's Beautiful Lee as in Leigh. It's my daughter's name. Reborn on Facebook. I will answer messages. I do have a lot of messages, so it might take me a while, but I will get around to it. So yeah, if you want to see part 2 and part 3 of this, like and subscribe. That way you'll get to know when I upload the next part of this video. Hopefully it'll be in the next few days, but it's New Year's Eve today, so I'll be taking tomorrow off, probably the next day. So this time next week I'm hoping to post part 2.